Welcome to Sania TV, where we honor leaders creating waves of change in the African and global communities. Today, we are thrilled to spotlight an educator, a mentor, and a visionary leader. This person actually is a founder of ECLN and SWAG. She received the Professional Impact Award for Sania 2024. Over the years, she has impacted and changed many lives of young ladies from classrooms to boardrooms. Let's dive into her story. Welcome, Mrs. York.
Thank you.
All right, so let's dive into the foundation your foundation of education. What inspired you to get into education, especially with children with disabilities?
That's a very good question because I started studying nursing in undergraduate school, and I realized that I just did not have the stamina. I became too empathetic when it came to thinking about the patient's illnesses, and just difficult to even go into the hospital. And so I said, I've got to change my major. I can't do this. And so I decided to go with special education, and I know that that's still a helping field. And I've experienced that, throughout my career.
I mean, it's interesting how you say this. Nursing is very broad. And even though you did not complete it and you don't have your degree or whatever it is with nursing, you're actually practicing nursing, right? You are, because I look at it as a tree, with several branches, and that's what nursing is about. We have nurse educators, we have, mentors and stuff. So you actually live in it. So I'm pretty sure that was a foundation, for where you got to. Do you believe that?
I like the way you put that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. So over the 30 years of your experience and, your career, what are some of the defining moments that shaped you to be an educator and a mentor?
I'm going to say not so much that shaped me to be an educator, but I can share with you some defining moments that solidified what I was doing, how I was doing it in terms of my leadership style. And one of them was a student who saw me in the drugstore. Just a few years ago, and she said, Mrs. York, it's so good to see you. And she continued to tell me about, to say thank you for speaking into her life when she would come to my office. This is when I was assistant school administrator, and she said, you would always say to me, I see you beyond where you are now. And then her mother walked up, and her mother said, Mrs. York, thank you so much. And, you always, had my daughter's back. And so, that meant a lot. Another instance is when we moved from Virginia to Florida. And it was during the summer, and, staff was short at schools. And so the principal in Pensacola was trying to reach the principal where I worked in Virginia. Okay. And he said, I couldn't reach him. There was no one in the building, but the building service manager answered the phone, and I proceeded to ask him about you. And he had wonderful things to say about you, Mrs. York. And I said, oh, okay. So, that meant a lot to me because it speaks to, my character again, how I treat people, because even though someone's a building service worker or manager, then you treat everybody the same. Right. Everybody with honor and respect. Right. And that meant a lot to me. I guess, hopefully that answered.
Yeah, it did. Because, to be a mentor, it takes a lot. It's a calling. You have to be able to actually speak in the language that the person understands. So if you're able to tap that deep into somebody to make a difference, that's very commendable because not everybody can do that. You did mention about moving to Virginia. That brings me to my next question. From your bio, I know you're a military spouse,
yes.
Wife.
Very much so.
I'm proud of that. Thanks for your service.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Which branch was your husband in?
Well, he's a Navy chaplain.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, nice. Interesting.
Yes.
So that required him to be moved from state to state and all of that, right? Because you mentioned you moved to Virginia and all of that.
Yes.
Now, how did you plant these seeds in different states of mentorship and leadership as you were moving along with your husband to serve the country?
Yes, I tell you, I was always active, with the officers' wives and working with the younger wives because their husbands were deployed, many of them for long periods of time. They needed guidance in how to manage their households and how to manage their families, and so I was one of those more senior wives who was able to provide that kind of support. Mm-hmm. In addition, I was very active in the church. Mm-hmm. in our community, providing support there, teaching Sunday school, or working on the praise team and doing those kinds of things. So I was able to work with the younger people there as well as adults.
Yeah. So this is pretty much like you are building gradually, right? And as I said, it's all part of so you said from Sunday school, which is pediatrics, right? In nursing. So see how it's intertwined. So nothing has been lost there, but it's very interesting how you put light in your act of service as a Christian, right? And this is something that I want most Christians to know. Christianity is not like a selfish act, right? Most people go to the church and for their own self gratification or more healing and stuff, but it's interesting how you had all the opportunity but you didn't keep it to yourself. You spread it out there because that is love.
Yes.
And love is the greatest commandment, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, and love is actually an action word, and that's exactly what you were doing. You were sharing the light, and you inspired people, and you touched people, and you didn't know where God was taking you, and look at where you are now. So that's very commendable.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. Now, what would you say you learned from the diverse schools, like from Georgia, Florida, Virginia, and other states that you happen to find yourself?
Mm-hmm. And in terms of what I learned from those diverse populations and demographics about students and children and adults is that people are basically the same. Mm-hmm. No matter where you are, no matter where you go, people have, very similar needs, across the world, actually. Mm-hmm. And of course, children, have the same. They need to be loved. They need to be cared for. They need to be taught if you're in that profession. And with understanding that all children can learn. And that's the way I have approached my, teaching in my career with the philosophy that all children can learn. They just have to be taught in a manner in which they best learn.
It takes a special person to do that. Because just even imagine, you even have, let's say 3 kids. Mm-hmm. All those 3 kids have different personalities. And now there's a whole different state with different kids from different homes, different backgrounds, diversity. And you were able to tap into these lives. Miss York, you deserve a flower. You sure do. Now, let's talk about the birth of ECLN and SWAG. Tell us, what does it mean? What does it stand for? And what is it all about? How did it all come about?
Okay, so ECLN stands for Empowering Community Leaders Network, Incorporated. And then SWAG stands for Sisters Wholesome Aspiring Toward Greatness. How did this come about? Well, in terms of the mentoring program, when I was getting ready to retire, I was thinking, now what's next? And I was prayerful about it. And the answer came. Continuing mentoring, but focus on the girls. And so why? Well, as a school administrator, and even as a teacher, but more as an administrator, I had encounters with girls across grades, and in the middle school, who would come to my office and there was drama. It's just drama. And
women and drama.
What were you thinking? Did you think about this? Did you think about that? And it left me thinking, what is it that I can do to be proactive, outside the school setting. And as I was retiring, continue mentoring, focus on the girls, and so the rest is history. So there's ECLN, Empowering Community Leaders Network, and then SWAG program, and that's how it actually happened.
That's amazing, because women, girls, are difficult to deal with. The men always complain they can get to understand us, right? And now, like, when you're little, it's even worse, because it's like they're trying to find their identity and everything, and the drama, as you said, and you were able to kind of like, see something good out of it, tap into it, and harness them and bring the best out of them. So it won't be the typical, like, stereotype, like, this is how women behave. You try to change the narrative, and that is very interesting. But what made you choose just women, like just girls?
Well, women can change the world. So when women in line, they're doing what they're supposed to do. They lead the men. So I mean,
neck, right?
and as I said, with my experience, I saw that. I was concerned. My concern is, let's prepare these young ladies so that they have the skill set, the tools to change the world. And that's what we do in SWAG. So goals of our program are social etiquette, dining etiquette, public speaking, cultural exposure, community involvement, and educational awareness, giving them foundations and understanding about a variety of career options, right? And team building, self-concept building. So all of those things are crucial to become an impactful leader. And then lastly is health and fitness. So it's a comprehensive program, and we've had this one young lady who is a mentor who completed our program in 2021 and who has returned every year since then as a mentor to her younger peers. She is now a junior in high school, and she's enrolled in the early college program at Frederick Community College.
Interesting. Wow. So not only are you training them to become leaders for themselves, but to also learn to give back.
Absolutely.
And that's amazing.
That community involvement piece is hugely important.
It sure is. It sure is. So you actually creating more Yorks, right? Or more Phyllis, whichever one you call it, and that's good. That's good. So now let's talk about your work. I know it's cut across the United States, now in Haiti and Romania. How did that come about?
Oh my goodness, it's a wonderful story. We had a friend who was a medical doctor in the Navy. And we learned that she had a medical mission to Haiti, Romania, at some point India, and that they were taking clothing, medical supplies, and in addition to that, dresses that were being made from pillowcases. And as we talked, we agreed that we could get involved, and we did. And so for 5 years, our SWAG program and ECLN, we made dresses, cute little dresses, out of pillowcases, and then the girls would craft them, to put like special kinds of buttons and decorations on them to make them special. And then they also eventually started putting name tags in them and signing their name. And so when the little girls would receive these dresses, they'd see who made it. It was designed by. It was very, very special. And we did that for 5 years, and we did not deliver them. But Dr. Lewis and her medical team delivered the dresses to those different countries.
Interesting. That's amazing. Not only are you teaching them to become leaders and meaningful people in society, but you are also like teaching them how to use their God-given talents to give back and tell a story behind it. And that's amazing. Yes. I didn't even know that. So thanks for sharing that story.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure you actually working with a lot of volunteers, right?
Yes.
How many volunteers would you say you have so far?
I would say we have about 30, 35
Oh, interesting.
volunteers.
That's quite a number of volunteers,
Yes.
and it could be quite challenging sometimes. I'm pretty sure you've gone through the ups and downs because volunteering job is hard to hold them accountable because it's a volunteer job. Sometimes you just say thank you one way or the other, but it's like they're not on salary and stuff. So sometimes getting them to be accountable, being on time, and actually following your mission and purpose of, your organization can be quite challenging. What are some of the challenges that you faced and how did you handle them?
Excuse me, I'll tell you, the one challenge that we have faced is recruiting volunteers who have a passion for the work that we're doing. And if someone does not have a passion for the work, they might not last. They might not, hang around long. But those who do stay, and it's quite rewarding for them. And another thing is training, to provide training for our volunteers and show appreciation so that they know that they are appreciated. In the state of Maryland, and I'm not sure about other states, but the comparable hourly rate wage is over $30 per hour for volunteer. I think it's maybe closer to 35 at this point. And
which is good.
Absolutely.
It's
and
good.
That's just comparable, right, to one volunteer hour. And so we are focused, laser focused on letting our volunteers know that we appreciate them, because they could go with any organization.
Sure.
Another thing, in terms of, so not so much a challenge, but looking at our volunteers' skill sets, because they come to us with a variety of skill sets, professions and all. And so being a transformational type leader, I look at those strengths and look for opportunities within our organization for training that they can attend, for example, the summit every year, and other kinds of opportunities where they might participate, and just to grow their talent, and then they're ending up giving back to the organization. So that's huge for us.
So what I'm seeing here is an asset, a woman who is so gifted in training and bringing the best out of everybody. So even though you've birthed swag at ECALN and you're training these young girls, you're actually training the mentors too. So it's indirectly you're still training everybody and bringing the best out of them and bringing out good leadership out of them, which will go a long way in their portfolio as well and become, your name is still going to be mentioned in their life stories, and you'll be a hero in their books too.
An unsung hero.
Right.
But that's the key, to bring out the best in everyone.
Yeah.
And which is good for everyone.
Okay, so there was a time that I was talking to somebody, and the person told me she likes to teach a lot because as she's teaching, she's learning. Do you feel that way sometimes?
Oh, absolutely. Let me share with you about a book that I read. It's many years ago, and it's by Henry Nouwen. And Henry Nouwen was a Jesuit priest, and he went to work at a school in Canada for special needs, but for children with special needs. And what he said in that book was that he learned more from this young man that he was working directly with, Adam, than he could have ever taught them or taught Adam.
That's deep.
And so that's how I sort of see myself, and that's my philosophy also, is that I learn from children, I learn from adults. I'm a lifelong learner.
Right.
And that's huge to me.
Yeah, that's huge. Yeah. Thank you for this insightful word. Hey, people out there, honestly, you can learn from anybody. There's no age gap for learning, from kids to from any age to adulthood, very older adults. Either way, you can learn from everyone. So we'll go for a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. So, Mrs. York,
Yes.
we're gonna play some fun game.
Okay.
Not too fun, but it's fun. All right. So
fun.
kind of fun. Pick one thing from here. Let's see. and I'll read it out.
Oh, you're going to read it?
Yep.
Okay.
No cheating. Okay. So, what's that one book that changed your leadership perspective?
I tell you, I like this book. So it's called Adam.
Adam
by Henry Nouwen. And that is the one I think I might have shared that where this Jesuit priest goes to this school in Canada to work with children who have special needs. And he did a lot of work with Adam, this one student, that he chose to write about. And it was so profound and made such an impact on his life that he said he learned more from Adam than he could have taught him during his stay at this school in Canada. That book is, I mean, it's been years since I read it, but I think about that in terms of impact and the way that I relate to children, I relate to people, and started actually relating to people after I read that book.
That's interesting. I could see the book having an impact on you because you from the narrative that you just gave, that's pretty much you. So yeah, I'll read it. I'll check it out.
Yeah, check it out.
Let's see what your next question will be.
Okay. And you're going to read it?
Yeah. Oh yes. Yes. Let me read it. I'll do the honors. Let's see. Okay. So, what's your go-to quote or mantra when things get tough?
Oh my goodness. Good question. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I mean, it'll carry me through a rough time as I'm reminded that I can do nothing of my own.
True.
Nothing on my own. I live and I breathe and I have my very being in Christ. And so knowing that I can do nothing on my own, I cannot think more of myself than I am. And that keeps me grounded.
That's good. I like that. I think that applies to me too. Because really, things get, sometimes you think you have control over things, but life will teach you.
That's right.
In today's day and age, the Gen Z, they'll say life is life-ing.
Absolutely.
So when it's life-ing like that, you have that at the back of your mind that indeed I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. If you fall, you keep getting back up.
That's it. That's right.
You know you have nobody back up.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, I like that. I think I'll make that my favorite quote too. So pick one more thing and you'll be free. Let's see. Okay, what's in here? All right. Wow. This question actually ties to your favorite book. 'Cause it's saying, what is that one lesson you learned from your mentee?
Oh, okay.
Yes.
In terms of teaching, in terms of learning, I believe in the growth mindset. Meaning that no matter how you come to me, what you are in terms of your emotionally or social emotionally, in terms of your leadership, because you have a lot to learn when you come to us, no matter how shy a young lady is, how withdrawn, they don't speak beyond a whisper perhaps, I'm afraid to, would not go on a stage for anything if you pay them for any amount of money. Not understanding, how the social graces, in terms of the etiquette, the dining etiquette, and just lacking understanding and a lot of that because perhaps there's been lack of exposure. With the minimum understanding of how to work with a team to solve problems, that kind of thing. And that can go on and on. But what I pride myself in and what I've learned to do is to look at that student and say, okay, I don't see you for where you are, but we know where you're going. We have some idea about where you're going. And so not so much that I've learned, if that makes sense. But to look at each individual in terms of the gifts, the talents, the skills, the abilities that they bring with them that we don't see initially. And then given 6 months, a year, at the end of that second year, we see it. I mean, them just blossom and grow into the leader, that they're going to be. And it starts with swag, but doesn't end there. Here's an example. I'll give you 2 examples, actually. I like telling stories. There's one young lady who came to swag, and she this is her first year, and I was concerned. I said, "Well, she doesn't smile." And that was my concern. And everything that she was doing, she's learned. I was thinking she doesn't smile. The last 2 months that we were together, because our program ended in May, she was smiling and communicating, and someone will say, "Well, that's minor," but it isn't. So she's building the confidence so that she has this skill set that she will take with her next year, in swag, away from swag, to college, to, into adulthood. And then another young lady, I might have mentioned her already, came to us, and she was just moving here from New York, and she was a rising 6th grader. And we said hi, and she was like, hi. And what is your name? She shared her name. No friends, just barely holding a conversation. This young lady, as I said, I mentioned her earlier because we're just so proud of her. She's not the only one, but we have to tell one story. We can't tell all the stories in one sitting. But she completed the program, and then she came back, as I said, as a mentor to mentor her younger peers. And now she's on, the Youth Council of Frederick. She is interfacing and at board meetings, and she's on our board of directors. So when I saw her, initially met her, as I said, she was full of talent, skills, and abilities that did not present when we first met her. But look at her now.
That's amazing. So it's like hand washing. It's the teaching you, teaching them. So because it's like they're teaching you how to like tap into what is missing, and you're able to pour into them to become the perfect people that they are. And they say there's no perfect human being, but everybody's perfect in their own little world.
Yes.
And you're able to build that world for them. So that is commendable, Mrs. York. Thank you so much. So you're like, your journey is actually it's a testament like to purpose and resilience, and I commend you for that. And I can't water it any down. Like, if I have a better word for you, I will give it to you. You've done so well, and continue with the hard work, across the globe, and keep doing it. We'll be following your journey too.
Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure. And thank you for having me here. And it was such a joy to attend and be honored at the Sania Awards last year. That was just like icing on the cake.
How was that like for
to
you?
be, to just be recognized by the greater community, for the work that not only myself but others in our organization are doing, and then to see the others who are doing such great work across the continent, really.
True, because when I followed you too, I realized that you've got other awards by different organizations and stuff. So which means you're doing something, and people see you, and it's good that people like you are being appreciated, and that way it will help more people to reach out to the world as well.
Yes, and let me back up. Let me say multiple continents.
Yes, definitely, in multiple continents.
We're at that Sania Awards. But that was just. And thank you again.
Thank you for coming, and I appreciate it. Thank you. To our listeners, if you've been inspired by Mrs. York's story, don't forget to share and subscribe. And always remember, impact starts with intentions. Until next time, keep leading with love.